Q6395. What requirements must an authorized instructor meet in order to prepare an airplane applicant for an initial flight instructor certificate? A. Logged a minimum of 80 hours of flight training time. B. Held a flight instructor certificate for at least 12 months immediately preceding the date the training is given. C. Held a flight instructor certificate for at least 24 months and given a minimum of 200 hours of flight training. The correct answer is C. To prepare an airplane applicant for an initial flight instructor certificate, the authorized instructor must meet the requirement of holding a flight instructor certificate for at least 24 months and having given a minimum of 200 hours of flight training. This requirement ensures that the instructor has gained substantial experience and expertise in the field of flight instruction before they are authorized to train and endorse applicants for a flight instructor certificate. By holding the certificate for a minimum of 24 months, the instructor has had sufficient time to develop their instructional skills, acquire knowledge, and gain practical experience in teaching aviation-related subjects. In addition to the duration of holding the certificate, the instructor must have provided a minimum of 200 hours of flight training. This demonstrates their extensive experience in instructing aspiring pilots and helping them develop the necessary skills and knowledge to become competent aviators. The 200 hours of flight training encompass a range of instructional activities, including ground instruction, pre-flight briefings, in-flight lessons, and post-flight debriefings. By meeting these requirements, the authorized instructor demonstrates their dedication to the profession, their ability to effectively train and mentor aspiring flight instructors, and their commitment to maintaining a high standard of flight instruction. This ensures that individuals seeking an initial flight instructor certificate receive training from qualified and experienced instructors who can impart their knowledge and expertise effectively. Q6398. A flight instructor who applies for an additional rating on that certificate must have a minimum of how many hours as pilot in command in the category and class of aircraft appropriate to the rating sought? A. 15. B. No minimum number of hours. C. 5. The correct answer is A. To apply for an additional rating on a flight instructor certificate, a flight instructor must have a minimum of 15 hours as pilot in command in the category and class of aircraft that is appropriate to the rating being sought. This requirement ensures that the flight instructor has acquired a sufficient level of experience and proficiency in operating aircraft of the specific category and class. By accumulating at least 15 hours as pilot in command, the instructor has demonstrated their ability to handle the aircraft safely and effectively, as well as their understanding of the unique characteristics and operational procedures associated with that particular category and class of aircraft. The purpose of this requirement is to ensure that the flight instructor possesses the necessary knowledge, skills, and experience to provide effective training and guidance to students seeking instruction in that specific aircraft category and class. It ensures that the instructor is well versed in the handling, performance, and operational aspects of the aircraft, enabling them to impart accurate and comprehensive instruction to their students. By meeting this minimum hour requirement, the flight instructor demonstrates their competence and readiness to teach in the new category or class of aircraft. It provides assurance that they have gained the necessary experience and proficiency to effectively instruct and evaluate students in the desired rating area, thereby maintaining the highest standards of flight instruction and safety. 6394-2. What restriction is imposed regarding flight instruction of other pilots in air transportation service by an airline transport pilot? A. 30 hours in any 7-day period. B. 7 hours in any 1-day period. C. 36 hours in any 7-day period. The correct answer is C. An airline transport pilot, ATP, is subject to a restriction regarding flight instruction of other pilots in air transportation service. The restriction is that an ATP cannot provide flight instruction for more than 36 hours in any 7-day period. This limitation is in place to ensure that ATPs who hold the highest level of pilot certification maintain a reasonable balance between flight instruction duties and their own rest and performance. It recognizes the demanding nature of airline operations and the need for ATPs to have adequate time for rest and recovery in order to ensure safe and effective performance. By restricting the amount of flight instruction an ATP can provide in a 7-day period to 36 hours, it helps prevent excessive workload and potential fatigue, which can have adverse effects on pilot performance and safety. This restriction aims to promote a healthy work-life balance for ATPs and minimize the risk of fatigue-related incidents. It is important for ATPs to comply with this restriction to prioritize their own well-being and ensure they are able to fulfill their responsibilities as flight instructors effectively while maintaining the highest standards of safety in air transportation service. 6344. Which training time must be certified by the instructor from whom it was received? A. Height training. B. Flight training and training in a flight training device. C. AI flight training, flight simulator training, and ground training. The correct answer is C. The training time that must be certified by the instructor from whom it was received includes all flight training, flight simulator training, and ground training. This means that any time spent by the student pilot in these activities must be endorsed and certified by the respective instructor who provided the training. Flight training refers to the actual hands-on flying conducted in an aircraft, where the student pilot receives instruction and practice in various maneuvers and procedures. This includes both dual instruction with an instructor and solo flights. Flight simulator training involves training sessions conducted in a flight simulator, which is a device that replicates the controls, systems, and flight characteristics of an aircraft. It provides a realistic training environment for practicing different scenarios and procedures. Ground training encompasses all the theoretical and knowledge-based instruction that takes place on the ground. This includes topics such as aviation regulations, aerodynamics, weather, navigation, aircraft systems, and emergency procedures. It may be conducted through classroom lectures, online courses, or one-on-one discussions with an instructor. In order to accurately record and validate the training received, the instructor who conducted each specific type of training, flight simulator, and ground, must provide their endorsement and certification. This ensures that the student pilot's training records are complete and verifiable, meeting the regulatory requirements and standards set forth by the relevant aviation authorities. 6347. A flight review is not required if a pilot has completed, within the time specified, A. An industry-sponsored refresher clinic. B. A pilot proficiency check conducted by the FAA. C. An instrument proficiency check conducted by an instructor with the armed forces. The correct answer is B. A flight review is not required if a pilot has completed a pilot proficiency check conducted by the FAA within the specified time. The FAA conducts pilot proficiency checks to evaluate a pilot's knowledge, skills, and ability to operate an aircraft safely. These checks are typically conducted for pilots who operate under certain regulations or in specific aviation sectors. A flight review, on the other hand, is a requirement for pilots to maintain their pilot currency and proficiency. It is a recurrent training and evaluation process conducted by a certified flight instructor, CFI, to assess a pilot's aeronautical knowledge and flight skills. The flight review consists of a minimum of 1 hour of flight training and 1 hour of ground instruction and must be completed within a specified time period. In this context, completing a pilot proficiency check conducted by the FAA within the specified time would exempt a pilot from the requirement of a flight review. It's important to note that this exemption only applies if the pilot has successfully completed the pilot proficiency check administered by the FAA and meets all other relevant regulatory requirements.